Hey everybody, welcome back to Here I am yet again. This is probably going to be a slightly quicker video. If you were watching my last couple live streams, you probably saw that I was working on evolving the phonology of Noshin from Proto-Cerngehelan, and we finally finished. Pretty cool, happy about that. What I noticed was the limitations of the sound change applier that I was using. The Zompist.com's SCA squared sound change applier. I've been using that the entire time. It's in the Conlang speedrun method. I used it for the Auto-June Phasvan transition, and I used it for the entirety of this process going from Phasvan to modern Noshin. And I couldn't help but notice over the course of my development of this that it is quite flawed. So I thought to myself, are there any better ones? Are there any ones where the text implementation, the diacritic implementations, all the glitches that happen in SCA squared are not an issue? So I looked around and the answer is, kinda. There's a couple choices. They all have their drawbacks. So I'm gonna show you 3 of them, 3 sound change appliers, and see what the benefits and drawbacks of each one are. Alright, here we go. Alright, so we're just gonna start out with the OG, or specifically version 2 of the OG, because this is Sound Change Applier 2 from the Zompist.com, which I think is Mark Rosenfelder's website. This is the one that I've been using for all my sound change needs and things. So it's great. It's really easy to use. You just write your simple phonological rules. There's a whole help section opens up on this page, and it tells you in pretty simple terms how to do all these things, how to use the proper rules, how to use the proper notation. This one does a basic original sound or original situation / outcome / situation. That's how phonological rules are written in actual linguistics. This is pretty accurate to how actual linguistics, like linguistic rules and stuff are written. Is input / output / situation, where the underscore is the place where the input and output is happening, and the stuff around it is the situation. A hashtag is a word boundary, so this one right here would be U turns into O when it's at the end of a word, when it's right before a word boundary. And then this situation would be elision. This is where S becomes nothing, because there's nothing between these 2 slashes at the end of words. There's also, like, it could be between vowels, or it would be V _ V, C will turn into G, etc. So that's pretty accurate. Arrows are also commonly used in like actual linguists' written phonological change rules. So it's good that the arrow symbol works for that too. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that that is a thing. The only issue with it is when you start trying to put diacritics into it, when you start trying to put pretty much anything other than just like the long vowel marker and the acute marker, if you start putting weird vowels in there, like vowels other than like the classic 5 vowels, if you start putting or schwa or anything in there, you try to put diacritics on them, they're messed up. The diacritics value gets pinned onto the next symbol or something like that. And whenever you're doing a bunch of sound changes like what I was doing, things start piling up a lot, and you have to do a lot of cleanup, which I've had to spend hours working on because of how messy it gets over time. So I don't know, it's just really annoying. Overall, I would say SCA 2 is still really great because it allows you to do all kinds of sweeping linguistic changes in quick succession, in quick blasts. It's a really great tool. It just sucks whenever you have to get diacritics and weird symbols and things involved because everything falls apart. Like, do not even try using like the little loop that connects, the little what do you even call it? The little arch thing that connects 2 sounds when they're supposed to be an affricate pair. Don't even try that. I gave that up a long time ago. Because if you do sound changes after that, the little arch is just going to stay there and get pinned to other things. Kind of sucks. Other than that, it's pretty good. So yeah, you can find the SCA2 sound change applier at zompus.com/sca2.html. I'll have that in the description. On to the next one. There is also a try SCA. Instead of there being categories, like a categories, input, output, and then separate rules, all of the rules are included here. Like literally all the sound categories, all of the rule changes, everything is included inside of this left box. And then you put your input text in here, and then the output will come out over here. And it uses a pretty similar setup to SCA2, except it allows for like these round brackets including multiple sound groups together, right? It has a whole rules section. Again, it's mostly similar to SCA2, relatively similar to the way, right? And it talks about the Unicode wackiness, right? About diacritics and things. And diacritics are always going to cause a problem according to this, but they have a way of fixing it. Like they have a way of converting like E with an acute from two characters into one character whenever you put it on normalized mode, which is on the original page. There's a thing down here that is automatically selected that normalizes the inputs and outputs, which is helpful, but not 100%. Not 100%. This is where things still mess up, is where you have a weird symbol with a weird diacritic on it, and it ends up converting it into multiple different symbols, right? Like a single tilde as opposed to like an esh with a tilde on it. So the normalize option makes it a little bit better for diacritics than SCA2, but try SCA still has not been able to fix the big problem of Unicode characters and their diacritics not being considered a single character. So also not 100% foolproof. Also, things get a little bit clunky having everything inside of one category right here. So I will say that it is slightly more efficient than SCA2. I was recommended this by someone in the comments of one of my live streams. So this is cool. If you want to get to try SCA, go to trymill.github.io/SCA. So then we're on to the Lexurgy sound changer. Now, this one is the best of the three that I've shown you so far, but it's also the most labor intensive. You go to this example section here, you click on the example page. It gives you three choices of examples. You can go to Basic-in, Intermediate-ish, or Advanced-ish. We're going to open up Basic-ish first, and it gives you basically a simple list of how the simple sound change strategies work on here. And it's slightly different, right? For some reason in this one, the word boundaries are denoted with $signs instead of hashtags, which I think is kind of annoying because that diverges from not only the standard of all the others, but also the standard that actual linguists use when they're writing real phonological rules. Also, instead of using like the two sets of slashes, there's a slash here that separates the input and output from the situation, but it uses an equals and a greater than to look like an arrow instead, which is a little more clunky, but it's good visualization, I guess. It's a good way of visually showing that ka turns into sha when it comes before etc. And it allows you to put in your own text and stuff too. You know, it allows you to name the rules and things. You name things in kind of a more coding way, a more, I don't remember, is that how CSS works, where you label a class and you give the class a name, and then you put it in the round brackets, separated by commas this time, which is also visually more helpful in my opinion. Seeing things with spaces and commas between them is helpful for the coding to discern whether you're talking about a diacritic or whether the diacritic and the letter are two separate sounds. So by having them separated manually by commas fixes that problem, at least in most situations. I haven't gone too deeply into this, but from what I've tested out, that does fix it. So that sets it far above all the others. It just sets it back a little bit with the formatting of the way that you have to type things in. And then if you want to get more complicated with the things that it can do, you can check out Intermediate-ish or Advanced-ish, because you get to start seeing feature types. You can set things into feature types. You can create places and manners of articulation, also separated by commas and stuff. You can create these categories as you wish. And so then feature height, you can for vowels there's low, mid, high, and then for frontness there's front, central, back. And then you can also add features as in pluses, right? So this is also starting to follow another format of linguistics strategies of writing out rules, is by having place and manner and other features all labeled as pluses or minuses, right? So then you literally can go in and you can define the place and the place and manner of every symbol that you put in here. And then you can go and start creating rules where you add stress to a vowel if it comes after an initial consonant. It's very customizable. Like, you can type in whatever you want in here, and then it works. You hit the old apply button, and then all the changes that have been labeled in here are shown in all of their glory. Oh yeah, advanced-ish, things get a little crazy. You can create primary and secondary stress and mark them with the special diacritics defined by the class diacritic. It's really helpful, though, if you're not like pretty fine-tuned into linguistics and you just want to play around with consonants and vowels and stuff, then this is definitively like a lot. This is too much. This is more than I would want to focus on in my sound changes, and I have a degree in linguistics, so advanced-ish is a lot. I would say intermediate ease is about as far as I would need to go in any of my sound change evolutions that I'd be willing to do automatically with a computer. If I'm getting more complicated than that, I'm probably going to do it manually to show it off in a Conlang showcase or something. That's pretty much it. It's already leagues better than SCA2 or Tri-SCA because it allows you to discern what is and isn't a single character, specifically with a comma. Again, it's probably not 100% perfect, but I haven't found any issues with it yet. So that's it. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to just show off 3 sound change appliers that I know about. SCA square is not bad. You just can't put weird symbols in there or else everything breaks. Diacritics break it. Basic diacritics on weird symbols breaks it. And Lexurgy hopefully fixes that. And Tri-SCA fixes about half of it. So you can take that as it will. And I'm sure there are a lot more sound changers. So please send me or tell me in the comments about other sound change appliers that you know of on the internet that I am not yet aware of, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video going over a few more sound change appliers and talking about how good they are. I'm planning on making an entire dedicated video to writing phonological change rules because a lot of people have been asking about that, and it's a pretty important part about making linguistic evolution and stuff, especially when you're using these apps on the computer. If you don't know how to write sound change rules, and if you don't know how to interpret sound change rules in your head, then it's not really going to be much good anyway. So I'm going to make a video talking about that, hopefully soon. Maybe even the next video I make, I'm not 100% sure. So yeah, that's about it. That's all I have to say for this video, except like, comment, subscribe, become a patron on Patreon, and you can recommend videos to me, talk to me personally, have conversations. Maybe I could do a showcase of your Conlang if you've been a patron for 3 months or longer. It'll be a great time. We got a lot of stuff coming out, and this is just a quick thing I wanted to show you. So, without further ado, I shall leave you until next time. Goodbye, everybody. Nga is out.